Okay, before I start, I need to say that this is my opinion. I will be saying my opinion about your opinions. Not saying that any of you are wrong, just a different opinion, which is 100% okay. But anyways, have you ever just been chilling and randomly been playing FNaF 3, and then you thought to yourself, oh hey, you know what? This game is actually pretty fun. Well, that, my friend, is one of the many hot takes in this video. Today, I'll be reading over 85, at least 70 FNaF hot takes from you guys. Is this video a mistake? Probably. Am I gonna get hate? Most definitely. But let's go ahead and get... Huh? What the hell is this? What was that, 12k? Holy, thank you guys so much for the support recently. It's actually been insane. If we can hit 15k by the end of the year, it actually means so much to me. But anyways, back to the video. Let's go ahead and get started with the first one. Into the pit Bonnie Alright, bro. This is not what I meant by FNaF hot take. FNaF 4 was the most boring out of all FNaF games. I think FNaF 4 is the scariest game. I would not say it's the most boring though. I think FNaF 3 takes the cake for that one. But FNaF 4 is still definitely close to like the most boring. Like the fact you just run to the same 3 spots, listen, and close the door if you hear something, it's definitely pretty boring. Security Breach is actually a great game that does not deserve all the hate it gets. While I do agree with this, you can't deny the game was an absolute mess on launch. And Scott himself said in the Dawko interview that the story of Security Breach was not what he intended. I do agree though, it doesn't deserve the amount of hate it gets, but it is definitely most not a perfect game like some people say. FNaF 3 is the weakest link in the original is that even a word? It's so tough ranking FNaF 3 because, well, I agree that the gameplay is the weakest, but the lore and importance of it is huge. It's so huge. Plus, animatronics are super cool. Well, actually, that's a lie. It's just Springtrap. I think I still agree it's the weakest, but not by much. FNaF 1 is incredibly overrated. Okay, so I made a community post a while ago asking you the same exact question, and a lot of you said no. I think I do have to agree that it's not incredibly overrated, but I do not at all think it's the best FNaF game. I think Annabelle here put it perfectly with this comment. Respect to the start, revolutionary at the time, compared to new FNaF games, it sucks. I 100% agree with this. I think this is literally the perfect way to put it. The FNaF movie, and just series in general, isn't for little kids. A lot of people hated on the FNaF movie for not being rated R or gory, but it was never supposed to. Scott made the games with PG-13 in mind, and the film obviously translated to that. Bonus fact is new FNaF fans aren't terrible, we all deserve to enjoy the series. I agree, the series was never going down an R-rated path. Sure, there's dark aspects to it, and some of the books, go into detail about unaliving people and whatever, but it all stays PG-13. It's how it basically always meant to be. I also do agree that new FNaF fans aren't terrible, and that everyone has a right to enjoy the series, obviously. But with that being said, there are some new FNaF fans that I do not appreciate. Like the ones that have only played Security Breach and act like they know everything. It does annoy me a little bit, but it's honestly not a huge deal. Toy Bonnie is the worst toy animatronic. Normally I wouldn't agree, I would usually say Toy Freddy, but after playing 1020, I agree. The first FNaF games are boring because of the gameplay. The only reason they're good or got popular is because of the atmosphere, premise, and story. 100% I agree. Also, to be fair, around the time they came out, there was nothing out at the time quite like it. The style of not being on the move and checking cameras was a completely new concept that was never seen before, and people were hooked, especially with all the mysteries going on around the time. FNaF Sister Location is a good game that has an S-tier atmosphere. Okay. So, okay. Don't get me wrong, I love Sister Location, but I do think it's only good for a first time experience. If you know what's gonna happen, like if you've seen gameplay or if you just straight up played it before, it's pretty terrible. The game is literally just like a walking cutscene. It's so boring. I mean, like, yeah, sure, there's some replayability with the minigames and the different endings with Ennard, but it's a very small amount. What I personally love about Sister Location is the custom night. Sister Location's custom night is one of, if not my favorite. I just love the cast of characters and what they do. As for the atmosphere, I gotta agree on that. The Sister Location atmosphere is unmatched. It's definitely one of my favorites in the whole franchise. But I realize I yapped about Sister Location for too long here, so let's just move on. FNaF 6 gameplay in general isn't even that good. If we're talking about the nights here, yeah, I agree, it's awful. But the way this is worded, it leads me to believe they're talking about the whole game itself, including the nights and the actual building of the pizzeria itself. I personally love the building aspect of the game, the minigames, buying stuff, and just everything about the setup part, honestly. But when it comes to the nights, yeah, holy, it's terrible. But I do definitely understand that it's not everyone's playstyle, so I fully understand that. Due to how long FNaF has been around, the charm is no longer there, with lack of mystery, horror, and obviously catering to a PG-13 audience. It was a product of its time, and all it's good for these days is merch irreverence to other cheap, uninspired mascot horror games. P.S. I enjoy your content a lot more than FNaF YouTubers. You're a nice change of pace as well as screaming YouTubers. First of all, thank you so much. Second of all, oh boy. I would argue that the charm is still very much here, but it has definitely changed. Now, do I think that's a bad thing? No, not at all. Sure, it caters to a younger audience now more than ever, but the lore and mystery is still definitely there for sure. I see the new FNaF as a completely new era of FNaF. Sure, it had a rough start with Security Breach, but Ruin was a massive step up despite it being only a DLC. And Help Wanted 2 is literally one of, if not my favorite FNaF game. It's a lot of fun with a really interesting story. I don't know, for me the spark and love of the series is still here, and I don't see it going away anytime soon, especially with recent announcements. Not gonna lie, Bloom Boy is kinda underrated. I know almost everyone hates him, but come on, he only steals your batteries, he doesn't actually try to get to like guard. So basically he's just a friendly kid animatronic that wants to have some fun. So technically he isn't that annoying to deal with. And if you're wondering how you're supposed to get rid of Withered Foxy without the flashlight, well, it's very simple. You just press and hold down Alt F4 on your computer's keyboard, and that would easily solve the problem for you. Thanks for understanding my FNaF hot take. Nah, I'm sorry. Balloon Boy is still very annoying. The fact that he steals your batteries is not too bad, you're right. But that laugh, holy bro, I hear that laugh in my nightmares. It's just so aggravating to hear, and I can't get over it, I'm sorry. Also, that Alt F4 tech is super strong against Foxy. I definitely recommend it for those that haven't tried it yet. Steel Wool is the best thing to happen to FNaF. Hold up, I have to think about this.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I do agree that Steel Wool did have a positive impact, but I don't know if I'd go as far as saying they're the best thing that happened to FNaF. Because yeah, they started off very strong with Help Wanted, everyone loved that game, including me. But then Security Breach came out, and that was a rough launch, super buggy, and the story was misinterpreted, it was just a mess. But they've been working hard, patching things, and I can say today, it's a great game that I enjoyed playing. Then Ruin was a nice step up, a lot less buggy, and it was a nice DLC for sure. Then Help Wanted 2 was incredible. I think Steel Wool 100% learned from the mistakes they made with Security Breach, and every game since then has not been as buggy. Sure, they've been less big, but still in my opinion, they're improving for sure. Like I said in the beginning, I agree that they have a massive overall positive impact, but saying that the best thing that happened to FNaF might be a bit much. But they're doing great so far, I can't see what's left in store for them. FNaF World is the best FNaF game. Alright, Dippy, I know you're sitting here trying to get a bingo rematch, but whatever. But still, this is one I got quite often, and honestly, I agree. Maybe not the best, but it's sure as hell up there. I just find it super fun to play, and it reminds me of playing like a Pokemon game or something. It's super chill, and honestly, I love it. And we definitely need a rematch, man. That FNaF World bingo was actually super fun. Help Wanted is better than the sequel. This I do agree with. I don't know, for me the first game was still really good, don't get me wrong, but I found it just stale compared to the second one. The second one is just so much more fun to play, and sure it's less scary, but honestly I don't even care about the scare factor anymore. If a game is fun to play, if a game is more fun to play, that's much better than being scary in my opinion. It's just what I value more personally. Also, something I don't like is how punishing the first game is. Like for example, okay, like during this repair, if I drop something, I die. But during the Glimrock Freddy repair, if I can do whatever the hell I want. I don't know, it just feels a lot smoother, and overall I like the second one way more. Please remember this is just my opinion, and I still respect your opinion, of course. 5 Laps of Freddy's is the best FNaF game. I'm sure you're joking here. I'm sure you're joking here, but unironically, I found it more enjoyable than other people. Obviously, still not even fucking close to the best FNaF game, but I'm sure this comment is just a joke. Right? FNaF 3's good ending is better than Connection Terminated, and it's not even close. Oh, wow, I really disagree with this. I mean, yeah, FNaF 3 good ending is still really hype, but like, bro, I get goosebumps when I listen to Henry's speech at the end of Pizza Sim. Still respect your opinion, but I don't know, in my opinion, I like Henry's speech 10 times more. I don't know, that's just me. I feel like this series lacks so much sauce that FNaF 1 with its horror. It's hard to explain, but I mean stuff like the whole blackout sequence in FNaF 1 and its Easter eggs, like the posters. I think Help Wanted sort of recaptured that kind of horror feeling. Besides that, the closest I felt was FNaF 3, with Springtrap staring at the player from the window/corner and running past the window and quickly hiding behind the corner. No, yeah, I get what you mean. We definitely don't get the same atmosphere anymore. But like, I don't really necessarily see that as like a bad thing. I don't know, as I said before, I could care less about like the horror aspect of these games, which may sound weird, but I just value like the fun and enjoyment over more than the horror. I don't know, it's just how I look at any game, to be honest. Security Breach is scary. At least for me, the only semi-scary part was the Endo Warehouse. Other than that, the game kind of tells you when you're about to get jump scared, in my opinion. The subscribe button shouldn't be red. If it is, you have to click it so you don't get hacked. Bro, I've noticed that glitch recently. Guys, if the subscribe button is red, you have to click it. I've heard really bad things happen, and obviously I want everyone to be safe. I don't want people getting hurt. Please subscribe. Sun/Moon deserves more screen time and a bigger role in Security Breach. He was actually supposed to be an animatronic. Gregory had to decommission all along the rest of the band, but the devs scrapped that. I loved Sun and Moon personally. Seriously, they were one of my favorite characters, and they were barely used. When Moon had that one random mechanic to roam the pizzeria at night or whatever, but I found that extremely stupid. Such a weird and random mechanic, and it just felt clunky as hell, I can't lie. So I definitely agree with this. I hope somehow we get to see more of them somewhere. Maybe in Secret the Mimic or something that we mentioned, I don't know. William Afton has become slightly overused. Also 10 days. First of all, I don't remember what 10 days means, so you're gonna have to remind me on that. But for the main point here, I kinda agree. Afton has to be let go, man. His end should have been UCN, and that's done. I don't think that he's still used to this day, and to be fair, I've started to let go of the lore a little bit, so I don't even know who the hell Burntrap is anymore. I'm gonna be 100% honest. But I really do like the new lineup they got going with the Mimic and Vandy and everything. I just wish Vandy was used better. Because let's be honest, we see her more in the trailers for Security Breach than actual Security Breach. It's actually extremely sad. Number 1, Security Breach is one of the best FNaF games. Number 2, the Mimic is a much more interesting character/villain than William Afton. Still like Afton, but I find the Mimic to be more interesting. No, I'm not a new FNaF fan. I'm an OG fan back in 2014. Okay, so for number 1 here, I agree it's one of the best. I don't think it's the best, but I agree how you said it. It's one of the best. I agree with that. For number 2 here, I don't agree just yet. Since we know nothing about the Mimic, it's hard to judge if he'll be more interesting. I'll probably have a better opinion on him once Secret of the Mimic does come out. FNaF 3 is the best. Okay, well, based on what I've said on earlier in this video, I think everyone knows that I disagree. I just personally really hate the audio lore mechanic, and the fact that it's only one animatronic, it's only Springtrap, it's just so lame. Now don't get me wrong, I love Springtrap, he's definitely one of my favorites, but just having one animatronic to babysit in a pizzeria is so lame. The Phantoms were there, yeah, I know, but it's just not the same, man. But whatever, that's just my opinion on it. Personally fine if you disagree. FNaF movie was not bad, but weird. I generally can't explain it because I actually liked it. For me, I feel like I went into it with way too high expectations, and I kind of forced myself to like it. I agree it's weird because like, I don't know if it was actually good or not, or if I'm blinded by the fact that it's a FNaF movie and I told myself to like it. I don't know, man, it's tough. I straight up don't know if I like the movie or not at this point. I don't know. FNaF AR is better than Security Breach. This has to be Rage Bait. I don't think anyone on this planet can have that opinion. But maybe on Mars they do. I don't know. I haven't visited. Golden Freddy's overrated. That is a bold statement. I think Golden Freddy's talked about how much they deserve to be talked about. I feel like they're an extremely complex character with a tragic backstory, and then being like the main center of everything is deserving, honestly. I don't personally think they're overrated, but that's just how I see it. FNaF should have ended at Ultimate Custom Night, and other games maybe still will should have been non-canon. I agree. The new FNaF games are still good, don't get me wrong on that. I feel like I've said don't get me wrong in like every single thing, but whatever. But it's almost like a completely different story that they're trying to randomly tie back to the first games. It's just a puzzle piece that doesn't fit right in my opinion. But maybe I'm tripping, I don't know. Nightmare All Challenges is an insanely underrated max world in terms of difficulty, and I don't know why nobody talks about it. Maybe I just struggle with the audio-based gameplay, but I generally think NAC is skill-wise harder than FNaF 2 1020, and only a little bit easier than Assist Location 1020. NAC and Saturday are the only max modes I haven't beaten out of the 7 mainline FNaF games. However, I like to hear other people's thoughts and opinions, so please tell me if you agree or if I just have a skill issue. Okay, honestly, I don't think I have much to say in this, unfortunately, because I've barely beaten the hard modes in FNaF games, so I probably shouldn't say anything here. Also, I'm a little confused with what you mean by Nightmare All Challenges, because even after asking some people, I still don't have a clear answer. So I'm just gonna assume you mean the challenges of FNaF 4. But please feel free to leave a comment if you all agree or disagree with this. I'm not knowledgeable enough to speak on it, I feel. Holy, this is an essay. Okay, pause and read this, because I'm gonna read it off screen, because my reading is, I started way too much, there's no way. Okay, that was a lot to take in. To be fair, I need to see every other movie to see if I would rather prefer this approach, but by the sound of this, it does sound more interesting to watch. Not only does it sound more interesting to watch, but it incorporates more of the franchise and stays mostly true to its story. I still like the movie we got and how it was a different spin on the series, but a movie trilogy like this would be such a nice visual representation of the series, and it would be nice to finally see everything play out. But we got what we got, and all I know is that the second movie is looking promising so far. Don't have one, just wanted to say hi. Oh good, what's up man, how are you? FNaF Security Breach is the best FNaF game to date, and yes, I'm allowed to have this opinion since I've played every FNaF game. Hey man, that's all good. If you think it's the best FNaF game, then that's cool. My personal favorite is probably Hub 1 and 2 or even FNaF World, but still a great choice. I've already talked about enough Security Breach, so I've already said what I've said. FNaF would be gone if Steel Wool didn't take over. I don't know if it would be gone, but probably another company would have taken over, and Into the Pit probably would have still came out due to it being a completely different company. But like I said before, I agree that they have had a massive impact on the series. FNaF should have ended at Pizzeria Simulator. I think it should have at least gone to UCN, just to end Afton's story, and then Help 1 and Up would be a different storyline. Yeah, I agree. I don't know, can you feature me in the video? Nah, probably not. I'm all good, man, sorry. The FNaF movie did not deserve any hate. I think the movie definitely had its flaws, but it doesn't deserve actual, like, hate. But I think it does have its critiques to be made. Like I said before, I can't tell if I actually liked it or if I'm blinded by the fact that it was a FNaF movie and I told myself to like it. I really gotta sit down and think about it. Security Breach was a perfectly balanced game on release. I'm sorry, but this is literally just incorrect. I don't know if this is like a joke or not, but this statement is just straight up not true. This is not arguable as a game on release, as most parts was just unplayable. Freddy would glitch into walls, it was just laggy and slow. It's like, no, I'm sorry, but on release, this was a mess. That's just not true. Ballora should have been the head of Ennard after Baby. In this location, Baby was constantly painting Ballora as the villain of the game, and the only one was truly aware of the fun times, so seeing her getting wasted like that broke my heart. That's actually a really good point that I don't see brought up enough. You said it perfectly in how in this location, Baby was constantly painting Ballora as the villain of the game, and the only one who was truly aware of the fun times. I think that's actually such a perfect way of putting it, like really nice job on that. I really do hope we get to see the fun times somehow again. They were some of my favorite animatronics. I hope we get to learn more about them. They should have took inspiration on Skibidi Toilet episode 73 and Garden of Okay, no, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. I'm sorry. Toy Chica isn't that hot. I straight up don't know how to reply. Dang bro, you a bit gone too far. Like bro, you can play the game and not like that taking hot takes. I don't think this guy knows what hot takes means. I think he thinks it means something else. Something bad. Scraptrap is the best Spring Bonnie / William design. Is this rage bait? I feel like this is rage bait. If not, I'm sorry. I just don't understand how someone can like this over any of these. I need an explanation. I'm sorry. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach actually isn't a bad game. People just installed it for what it was on the release date, but if you play it now, it is actually playable and a lot of the main glitches were removed. The only thing I can say is absolutely terrible is the animatronic AI system. There are two perspectives to look at it from, the gameplay and the lore. I'm noticing that a lot of these are about Security Breach, which is honestly not that surprising. As I think I've said before, I'm starting to lose track here. I agree that Security Breach is a good game, and honestly, I think you're right on how people install it for what it was in the release date. But to be fair, we can't still just brush the unreleased version under the rug. We did wait like a full 2 years or however Security Breach, I'm starting to forget. So seeing it in that state on release was disappointing. I'm very glad they fixed most of it and they've learned from it for sure. But it's hard to move past and ignore that. Because your first playthrough in the game, at least for me, is what's like most important. It's the first impression, is what you look back on. So having a really messy memory of the game being a disaster is a tough pill to swallow. So I don't blame the people constantly bring up the release date version of the game, but I do understand that it's in the past and we should look at what we have now. I understand both sides of it. Also, you are correct on that animatronic AI system is terrible. I don't think that's even arguable. It's so bad. This location is the most artistically and narratively creative and interesting game in the series. The corporate humor is also the best balance without being overly cheesy, but also ridiculous enough at the same time. I agree that this location has a really good story, really good characters, and the humor is...
Thank you for selecting Exotic Butters.
Absolutely my favorite, it's perfect. But just like I said before, replaying the game does feel very boring, but that's understandable. I feel like I've said enough about this location in the last comment I made, so I don't have much to say here. FNaF 2's gameplay is the most poorly crafted in the series by far. I disagree. Now, am I biased towards this? Probably, but I don't know. I just love FNaF 2. It has always been one of my favorites, and it's the one that actually got me into FNaF, so it holds a special place in my heart, at least for that. Its gameplay, I can agree, is not the greatest, but I still don't think it's that bad. I feel like I can consistently beat it, and I still find it really fun to play. I don't know. That's just me, though. I don't know. I personally love it. I swear I'm like the only person that loves FNaF 2. I don't know anyone else that really likes that game, but oh well. The story of the Mimic isn't as interesting as everything that came before it. At least to me. Well, see, this is the thing. Okay, like, I mean, yeah, I agree, but it's unfair to say that since we barely know anything yet. Like, yeah, for right now, he's boring, and I agree it's not very interesting as of right now, but once we learn more, then I'll actually have a fair opinion on his character. If you still don't find him interesting after seeing everything, okay, then yeah, fair enough. But we gotta at least give him a chance. It's only fair. FNaF 3 is overrated. It's a joke of being aggressive nightmare mode, and it's so fun. What? I feel like this comment was just made just to flex the fact of being aggressive nightmare mode. FNaF 3 and Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator are some of the best games. FNaF 3, for its impact and lore, sure. Gameplay wise, no. And for Pizzeria Simulator, I agree fully. Such a great game. Andrew from the books should not be real in the games because Scott can't just mention someone from the books and being in the game randomly, especially when there are tons of alternates between different characters in the books and the games. Like, okay, bro, I'm gonna be 100% honest here. I don't know who the Andrew is, so I'm just not gonna comment on this. FNaF Into the Pit sucks. Okay, see, this is the thing. Everyone seems to have loved Into the Pit and saying it's one of like the best FNaF games and everything. I don't know if I missed something, but I didn't think it was that good. I wouldn't go as far as saying it sucks like this comment, but I don't think it was like the most amazing 10 out of 10 FNaF game ever made. It was just good. A lot of cutscenes and dialogue, plus the gameplay is a lot of run and hide. I don't know, I just wasn't like the biggest fan of it, but it wasn't by any means like bad. Still a decent FNaF game for sure. Paper Pals are the most powerful and best characters. No more needs to be said, I agree. Wizard Freddy is the best wizard animatronic and better than the FNaF 1 Freddy. This is an opinion based like favorite animatronic type of thing, so I'm not really gonna comment on this. I have nothing to say. Elizabeth isn't as innocent as the fandom sees her. She's a victim, yes, but she's gone down a dark path. She's not as bad as Afton, but she's definitely a sociopath. We don't even know how many homeless people she killed off screen before the events of FNaF 6. Speaking of which, her final moments before being burned away was her here wanting to be just like her father and create a pizzeria massacre. I don't think Elizabeth is going with Michael and crying child David, if you know what I mean. She's still sympathetic, maybe even redeemable, but the truth is, it's too late for her to change now, even if she wanted to. Whoa, okay, hold on. Honestly, I never really ever thought about it that way, but I guess you're kind of right? I can't remember if it says somewhere that she killed homeless people though. That's news to me. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I'm actually so out of the lore. It's crazy. I've been refreshing myself by watching Hyperdroid's Guide, which I definitely recommend by the way. Such a great video. Still not even close to done though. I believe there is no way to completely solve the story of FNaF at this point. With all the theories, retcons, contradictions, misunderstood details, confusing canons, red herrings, the fact that up until Help Wanted, Scott was writing the story basically all on his own, the fact the story was never intended to be any complicated until 3 games in, I wholeheartedly believe that even Scott's own understanding of his own story has plot holes. And those plot holes will make it continually more difficult to piece together what's happening since everyone only wants the answers that line everything up cleanly. It simply will not happen. Even if he himself were to release an explanation of the full narrative, something will not add up and some people will be upset. I don't even know what to say, bro. Cause you're not wrong, but it just sucks to basically never have a full, complete, and flawless story. The show must go on and games will have to continue to be made. It would have been a lot easier to end the main storyline at UCN like all the other comments have been saying, and everything past Fusion should have been a new story kinda. I don't know, it just feels weird how different the lore is now. And yes, I know it's good to change. I know it's not gonna stay like the same for like a whole decade, but it's definitely lost some of its touch, like previous comments I've also said. But I don't know, I don't really know what to say. I'm gonna leave this one to you guys. Let me know what y'all think of this. The missed potential for all the fun times, such as Ballora, would have been cool to find out why she was made the way, other than simply just being like a ballerina. FNaF Freddy, is there a reason why Bonbon isn't his own animatronic? Why is that? And FNaF Foxy, if she's really just Mango in the past, or if he's their own separate thing. By the way, I love your videos, man. Keep it up. First of all, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Second of all, like the previous comment said, the wasted potential of how like Ballora should have been the head of Ennard. Honestly, like the fun times just should have had more of a role. I appreciate that some of them were then later used on for Fazbear Fright stories, but I really hope we get to see them in like a game again someday. I don't think it really makes sense of how they would appear again, but maybe like a crazy backflash game or something, I don't know. Michael Afton's rotting body should have been green from the rotting, holes in the skin because the sharp metal scraps from Ennard, and at least one animatronic eye hanging out his mouth or eye socket, and should be blind. Realistically, yeah, I agree, it just makes more sense. I just really like the idea of purple. It fits really well for the series. Or maybe I got used to seeing purple a lot, I don't know. But all the other stuff you said, I 1,000,000% agree. It'd be super cool to see more details in him rather than just like, haha, funny purple man. To get ahead, I'll give one of the hot takes right off the bat. Making Springtrap's power complicated in DBD would just be counterintuitive. He doesn't need a Springlock suit or AI controlled animatronics over the map or anything else. All he needs is a stealth ability and big, potentially instant-down lunge to mimic jump scares from FNaF. Making him rely on something overly complex, and especially involving DBD's shardy AI, would make him a weak killer. So alright, with some decent DBD experience, I just personally wouldn't want another stealth killer or lunge like dash killer. But you're right, I don't want something overcomplicated just like how Vecna and Dracula both have like 1 trillion abilities. I just want something nice and simple, but I honestly don't know what. I hope they can come up with something that's like new, creative, and just like overall different. I really hope it does the FNaF franchise justice, whatever they pick. Golden Freddy looks goofy, but I don't know what you're talking about. Golden Freddy's most terrifying and unsettling. Ah, yeah, you know what? Fair enough. Toy Chica isn't a bad character, the fandom ruined her. I don't think anyone really thinks Toy Chica is a bad character. I just think her character has been used in different ways than intended. Hot take, Springtrap is a bad character. He's insanely annoying in FNaF 3, and it isn't fun to try to defend yourself against him. FNaF Freddy is the best character in the game, his jump scare is really good. Okay. Personally, for me, I never found Springtrap annoying in FNaF 3. It was mostly the phantoms and arrows causing problems. Springtrap really does nothing without those. He's just some guy that walks around. You gotta remember that there's more to a character than just the gameplay in a game. I know it sounds weird, but saying Springtrap is bad just because he's annoying in FNaF 3 is a bit much. He's such a great character with a lot of backstory and lore, and he's literally the main villain of the franchise. Sure, you can still call him annoying, but there's so much more to him than just annoying rabbit that killed you a few times in FNaF 3. I'm not gonna judge, call him what you want, but I think you should look at a character as a whole before calling him a bad character. William Afton is not evil, he's just a low-key chill guy who's misunderstood. I'm assuming this is a joke, but if not, this is literally just factually incorrect. MatPat actually got the timeline correctly in every single FNaF video, and Scott had to make up something else. That's why the lore is so convoluted. I don't know if Scott would completely change the lore just to make it so unsolvable or convoluted. It sounds like a really petty thing to do to change something just because someone figured it out. It doesn't sound like Scott to me. Mango is female and FNaF Foxy is male. I actually don't have an opinion on this too much, because for Mango, Scott said their gender is yes, so like whatever, case solved. But for FNaF Foxy is weird because in his location, they're in a custom night called Girls Night. But then in UCN, it says he, his in the description, so I don't even know anymore at this point. I think Scrap Trap is a better design than Burn Trap. Burn Trap has to be one of the least threatening designs for Springtrap. It just looks so old that it can be beaten up with one punch. Honestly, just both of them look goofy in my opinion. I really like Glitch Trap design, but I don't even know if that counts as an Afton anymore. Mango did the bite of 87. I don't think this is like a hot take. I think a lot of people agree with you on this. I know I do. A February's game won't probably exist because there's too many fan games. Think about it. If they publish a game and people say they copied this game, I personally disagree. I think Scott and Steel can definitely cook up something that's different and unique. Plus, even if it's not too different from a FNaF fan game, I don't think people will mind too much. I'm pretty sure a lot of people just want Freddy's game for the lore and purposes as well. I know I do. They honestly could have been doing the same style for like Into the Pit for a Fredbear's game. I think it works very well. The Phantoms are underrated. The Phantoms are kind of cool, sure, but they were made to be annoying. So them being like underrated or overhated is understandable, to be honest. FNaF hot take. Springtrap has the best jump scare in the entire franchise. If it's Springtrap from UCN, honestly, I can respect it. But if it's this one from FNaF 3, I'm sorry, but what the fuck? FNaF hot take. FNaF 4 is the best game in the series. Jump scares, check. Lore, check. Animatronic design, check. Creepy location, check. Honestly, I agree with all these points. Like, yeah, FNaF 4 does all those very well, but you forgot some key ones. Fun gameplay loop? No. Mechanics? No. Just the overall running back and forth and checking the same 3 to 4 spots sucks. And don't forget me started on the listening mechanic. I'm just overall not a fan of FNaF 4, but I will admit it does certain things very well. And finally, for the last one, we have my FNaF hot take. I might get hate for this, but out of the first 4 games, FNaF 2 is the best. Alright, chill. I don't know, I just love FNAF 2 so much. It's a game that got me into FNAF, and I've loved playing it ever since. The mask mechanic was so interesting to me. The cast of characters is like one of the largest, with some of them being super iconic or really important. I don't know, I personally just love it, and I can always count on it going back for some nice fun. Alright, that was over like 70 hot takes or something. I'm very tired. I hope I didn't piss off anyone too much. I'm gonna go to sleep. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.